The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the raw and uncensored Ambitchious podcast. I'm your host, the original HBIC, Katie Boyd. During our time here together, I will be instilling all of the strength, power, and determination you will need to use the very stones thrown at you to build your ultimate empire. We will redefine the word bitch from the derogatory to the acronym, being in total control of herself. So let's adjust our crowns and prepare to live life ambitiously. Oh yeah, here I am, the original HBIC, Katie motherfucking birthday girl Boyd.
Happy birthday, baby.
It's my party and I cry if I want to.
No crying. Let's have a beautiful birthday.
It's my birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, baby.
Well, it's not my birthday today.
Yes.
It was my birthday yesterday.
Yesterday was your birthday.
And
it was
pretty
awesome.
much the entire weekend before today.
It was a birthday weekend, and it's actually a birthday week. I was notified to have all of the good stuff going on all
Yes.
week, so I'm ready.
Matt asked me what I wanted for my birthday.
Yes.
And I said, I would like a food crawl, please.
We did.
Do you know, guys, know what a food crawl is? It's when you go to all these different restaurants and you have like one or two things that are your favorite things at each restaurant.
Yep.
So we started off at the Bancroft.
Yep.
I had a duck sandwich with brie.
It was
and
really
fig
delicious.
and fucking truffle fries and 2 old fashions and a glass of red wine.
It was delicious.
And then I ended up at the Capitol Grill.
For dessert.
Yeah, I had
That
some
was really
coconut cream pie and espresso martini. And then right before I shat myself, I went to Chinese food.
For later.
And I got some crab rangoons.
So we started, 11 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
12 o'clock. 12 o'clock lunchtime. Had a few drinks.
I've had some
It was a
gastric
nice time.
distress the last 48 hours, let me tell you. It hasn't been a good last 48
I
hours.
have to go run a freaking marathon.
Yeah.
Thank God this only happens once a year.
Matt has to get the septic system pumped today.
It was pumped like last week, so I have to get it done again.
Absolutely. Well, with me living with you,
Oh,
you gotta get
God.
this. You gotta get it pumped like all the time.
It's like getting your gas pumped.
So today is all about my journey around the sun, because that's what your birthday is. It's 365 days journey around the sun.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No, you told me that, and I was like, wow, I did not know
You
that.
need to get with it, esoteric
No,
man.
no.
And I want to tell each and every one of you the top 5 lessons that I have learned that are the most important in the last 38 years on this earth plane. What do you think about that?
I think it's fantastic.
I'm going to drop some wisdom.
You've learned a lot.
Because now I'm
over 38
sage.
years.
I'm sage and I'm wise like an old owl. That's what happens when you turn 38 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone said to me the other day, are you 40 yet? And I said, fuck you.
Just like that?
Just like the way that they said it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, literally, fuck you.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm 38. I'll be 40. No, don't you worry. In a blink of an eye.
It won't happen.
Because life goes so quick. But before I start the Ambitchious Birthday Podcast, I want to read the iTunes review of the week. And it is from L. Kuhn. 5 stars, and it says inspiration and interest grabbing ! Katie's podcast is fun and funny. I rarely finish other podcasts because they tend to drag on and I lose interest. This podcast series rocks because I learn something, I leave inspired, and I'm interested throughout. Love it. And she gave us a thumbs up and like that fucking blowhorn thing with all the confetti coming out
I love
of
the
it.
confetti thing.
Yeah, that's the good emoji.
That's the
I think
one?
that means party time.
So you press the button, and when you look at it,
explodes.
it explodes.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. Please reach out to me by emailing me at themisfitclub@gmail.com to redeem your $100 gift certificate to use towards anything KBMFC related. And if you are new to the Ambitchious podcast, welcome. If you are not new and you have not gone onto iTunes and given a review, you're a lazy motherfucker, and you better get your shit together. You better go over there and you better leave us a 5-star review, and you better say something nice about me or else.
That's gangster.
Or I will hunt you down on my birthday.
We'll hunt you down.
No one said I wasn't a gangster. Okay. I'm from Taunton, honey. That's where I was born and raised.
Yes, you will cut somebody if you need to.
Yes. It's gangster's paradise. I'm like Coolio. All right. So here's the dealio. It rhymes with Coolio. I'm a poet. I didn't even know it. I want to tell you guys my top 5 lessons that I learned over the last 38 years. And really, the last couple weeks, you're coming up to your birthday. You start really thinking deeply about your life, what you're doing, where you're going, where you've been. Yes. You have these epiphanies. You have these revelations. And I really wanted to just drop some knowledge on you. So here we go.
That's great.
And I know this is my knowledge, Matt, but you can just chime in whenever you want.
I'll chime in. I have a few more years to discuss about birthdays, 13 to be exact.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, you're way ahead of me.
I'm ahead of the game.
You should be so much more wise and smarter.
I am.
But too bad that's not the case.
You just don't listen to me. I try to tell you that as much as I can. You just don't listen.
All right, you ready for the first one?
Let's do it, babe.
This is really going to blow your minds at home, people. Number 1, just because you are awesome doesn't mean everyone else is.
For sure.
That's one of my biggest lessons. So much of our pain here on earth comes from the fact that we are loving and kind and courteous and gentle, and therefore we think everyone else will be just like us, and nothing, my ambitious friends, could be further from the truth. We need to realize before it's too late that not everyone is going to see what we see or feel what we feel or think how we think. And if we want to live happy and healthy lives, we need to get really comfortable with this fact, or we will drive ourselves absolutely bonkers. I hate to say this so bluntly, but Blunt is one of my other middle names other than motherfucking.
Motherfucking boy, yes.
Here it goes. People suck. Plain and simple. Don't take it personal. We need to start really getting okay with the fact that just because we are the way we are, loving, kind, and gentle and caring, does not mean that everyone else in the world is going to be like that. Right. And it fucks us up every time. Don't you agree, Matt?
It does. And that's why it's so important. We always talk about finding your tribe and your people that you want to hang out with and who you want to be with, right? I mean, you have to go out into the world and work and all these different things.
Right.
But you don't have to let those people in, so to speak. Although at work I've met so many close friends of mine and became great friends. They became part of my tribe.
Yes.
But I think when you go out there expecting everyone to think like you, they're not. You're going to get cut off. You're going to get the finger in your face. You're going to get all these different things, but it's how you react to it. And the quicker you can move on from those experiences, the better off.
Because what do most people do? Something is done to them, and they say what? Oh, how can someone do this to me? I'm such a nice person. And it's like, you don't get it. No one cares that you're nice because they're not nice.
Right.
Or maybe they are nice and they're just having a bad day.
Right.
That's why I say don't take shit personal.
Don't take it personal. It's nothing to do with you. Everyone's just trying to get through their own stuff and their day, and that's basically it. I don't think a lot of people go out there with a lot of intention. Right. They're just trying to get from one place to the next, and they're not really thinking in their mind where they what they want to happen.
Absolutely.
Right?
Number 2, it may not be your fault if something is broken, but it is your responsibility to fix it. Right?
That's a good one. I like that.
Well, this is what happens, right? So hear me out. If you grew up with an alcoholic as a mom, okay, or you were sexually abused as a child, or you have gotten married and divorced 3 times in a 9-year span, okay, those are heart-wrenching and they are excruciating and they are traumatic experiences. And I will never say that that's not true, but it may not even be our fault that any of this happened. The issue is we get married to our story, right? You tell yourselves, I can't trust anyone because my spouse cheated on me with my next door neighbor, or I can never be intimate because I was molested as a child. But the fact is, this is just not true. We didn't do these things to ourselves. We didn't ask for them to happen, but it is our responsibility to seek out the help or tools or support to help us on this healing journey. Do you not agree with this?
I agree 100%. And, life can be very, very hard, as we know, right? But it's what you do and the questions we ask ourselves to turn it around.
Right.
So if you want to just keep on telling yourself the same story over and over and over, you're not going to change. That means you had a bad experience. There's nothing worse than a bad experience, but you didn't learn anything from it.
Right.
Then it's just thrown out there and you're just going to live it for the rest of your life. If you learn something from it, whatever the experience it is a win. It is a win because now you have some data that you know what to do. And if you ask the great questions like, what did I learn from this?
Yes.
Or how can I make this happen? I mean, but if you get into that loop conversation, it isn't fair. How come this happened to me? You're going to get shit answers and you're never going to be able to make a change. You're going to just keep repeating that story over and over again.
And so many people come into my office. I do one-on-ones with people from all over the world, Skype, FaceTime, or they come in physically to my office and they tell me these stories of like why they are the way they are, what has happened to shape their lives to be the way that their lives are at this moment.
Yes.
And then I say to them, well, what are you doing to heal yourself? And they're literally, they look at me like I have fucking 10 heads.
Right.
So for me, I've had a lot of incredibly crazy, hurtful, could have put me down in parts of my lives that I've gone through. And the thing is like, I always look outside of myself for help, whether it's going to get Reiki and multidimensional healing from a Reiki master, or if it's going to talk therapy, or if it's going to see a shaman.
Yeah, whatever.
Right? Or it's
whatever
just having lunch with a friend who's like uplifting and positive or whatever. Like all of these things can help you heal, but you need to be the one that fixes the problem. No one's going to save you. No one's going to wake up and say, oh, Katie's having a really hard like last couple months. I'm going to go and like, prop her up like some doll on the bed and like make her move. It's like, that doesn't work.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to ever happen. Remember, like the famous William Ernest Henley quote, Invictus, right? I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. No one is going to save you. No one is going to help you. You have to fix the things yourself. And honestly, that was one of my biggest epiphanies, not just in my life, but in the last year especially.
Yep.
Because as I level up in my spiritual awakening, I keep seeing things that happen like, oh my God, like this happened to me for these reasons. And now it's my chance.
You can go back and follow the breadcrumbs and say, if this didn't happen, I wouldn't be sitting here today. If this happened another way, I wouldn't have met this person, right? It would have changed the whole trajectory of your life.
Yes.
So, but it's easier when you've gone through it and when you're not in it. When you're in it, it's tough, right? But you have to be able to move through it quicker, right? Through experience and going through the difficult time, because there is no fear. That's the biggest thing. People, it's not fair. It's not fair. Who said it's freaking fair?
Matt gets so mad at me because I say that all the time.
What does that mean? It's not
I'm like,
fair.
this isn't fair. And he's like, what is fair in life? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know.
But you can never get a good answer from that, right? It's like, okay, what is it? Let's look at it. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to be able to fix it? This is the steps we can take to fix it.
Yes.
Right? And it's always some way to be able to move on from the experience.
So it's not your fault if something's broke, but it is your fault to fix it, guys. Remember that. Number 3. We teach people how to treat us.
Yes, we do.
This is like revelation after revelation. So this is like one of the words or the phrases that I hear a lot. She made me feel like fill in the blank, right? Or they did this to me and now my life is whatever. And blah, 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 blah. So the hard truth is that no one in this world, I don't care who the fuck that they are and who they say that they are, can make you feel any way unless you allow it. We allow or deter anything that comes in our way. When people say hurtful things, we have the power to either speak up or stay silent. And when people hurt you physically, we have 2 choices: to stand up for ourselves and our physical bodies or allow the abuse. We hold the power in our hands. Start thinking about what kind of boundaries we establish and how well we stick to them. And then you will see the quality of your happiness and your joy. What do you think about that, Matt?
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, it is like, number one, you have to be able to stand up for yourself. I mean, even when I'm teaching my little kids in martial arts, nobody has the right to be rude to you, disrespect you, put their hands on you, ever.
But do you hear this phrase a lot from people? What? Like, this person made me feel like A, B, C,
Oh,
and
my
D.
God, yeah.
Does it make you cringe when you hear it, though?
Yeah, because it's like you allow it, right? So you're putting yourself in that energy. You're putting yourself in that situation.
Right.
And you keep going back. So what are you doing? What are you getting from it, right? Because you have to make the change. You have to set the boundary. If you don't set the boundary of how people treat you, then they're just going to treat you anyway, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, what is it? You bargain for a penny, and that's all you're going to get.
Oh, I never heard this one.
Right?
What
I
is
forget
this?
who said it.
You bargain for a penny?
If you bargain for a penny, that's all you're going to get. If you bargain for $1 million, you'll probably get that. But if you only think it's a penny that you're worth, then that's what you're going to get.
This is very Oliver Twist of you, Matt. Where did this come from?
Wait a second,
if you bargain for a penny. God, Tuppence a bag.
I told you I'm an old soul.
You are.
I am an old soul.
You're
yes.
like the pigeon lady in Mary Poppins.
Well, I was just going to do an accent, but then it started to sound like a pirate. That doesn't sound like
Oh
all
yeah.
of us.
Every time Matt tries to do like a Cockney British accent, it always comes out like he's fucking Jack Sparrow, whatever the hell his name is.
I love Jack Sparrow. He's the best.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Oh, so you're the best with the accents. We were actually watching Oliver Twist the other day.
I know.
During the food crawl.
That was weird. It was on when we were at dinner, and I was like, oh, there I am. I was Mrs. Salisbury, like in my sophomore year in high school.
That's awesome.
That was very good,
I was
Mrs.
probably
Salisbury.
I was probably in jail the sophomore of my high school. No, I wasn't in jail.
Matt was smoking butts out by the flagpole in sophomore year in high school.
I was not in Oliver Twist.
Yeah. And he had a flock of seagull haircut and a popped collar.
Wait a second. That was
1984,
baby. I was
baby.
more Prince and Michael Jackson.
So you had like one dangly
Rick
earring?
James.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm so turned on right now. I can't even stop myself.
That's why I make these moves, babe. That's why I talk about these things.
Moving on, number 4. Jesus, Matt is such a distraction today on my birthday. We are not our thoughts or our story. So Matt was actually looking over this morning, and he made a really good point. He said, we are our thoughts, but we are not our story. And what I meant by that was what I said is, we are not the low vibrational thoughts in our mind that says, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not enough. And what Matt was trying to say was, you
are your thoughts, right? So whatever you're thinking, whatever you have, whoever you are, you created it.
Yes.
Right? Whether you like it or not, right? Successful people say, oh, I'm self-made. Unsuccessful people are also self-made, but they don't want to admit it, right? Because we all create everything. I created everything, where we live, what we do,
yes,
how
we manifested our whole reality,
how people treat us, right? All of these mixed messages, we were able to spin them together and try to create a life, right?
Totally.
And it was all of these different parts that we pull from here, pull from there, and hopefully we pull really good parts together to create a great life, right?
Yes.
But we did it, I mean, because of our upbringing, we pulled it together haphazardly, right? But I think we went back to this and we kind of looked at it, and it was like, because of your fitness and because of my martial arts, we started goal setting for those things. And then we took it and said, hey, we can start goal setting and making things happen, not only in martial arts and not only in the fitness industry, but wow, we can do this in business, we can do this with relationships, we can do it with all of these things. But we were never taught how to set goals.
No.
We had no goal. My families had no goals.
No.
It was like, let's get up and survive. You know?
Exactly.
That was their goal. And what a shitty fucking goal, right?
Hey, but they didn't know any better.
No, they didn't know any better.
Right?
They didn't know any better.
But when you know better, you do better.
Yes, you do.
Right?
And when you bargain for a penny.
Oh, Jesus Christmas.
Penny for your thoughts.
Lord in heaven help us all. Why don't you go sweep a chimney?
How about a penny loafer?
Go sweep a chimney. Oh, God, penny loafers. Those were the best.
How about a nice penny loafer?
Good Sperry.
Oh, good Sperry. What'd you say? Good what?
A good Sperry.
Oh, Sperry. Okay.
So what we're trying to say here is whatever your thoughts are creates your reality. Yes. But the thoughts in your mind that are low vibrational negative are not truly who you are, okay? It's enemy energy. It's just, it's like, you ever watch Tom and Jerry when you were little and Tom had like the angel on one shoulder and the mouse on the devil on the other? That's really, truly true.
Yes.
Right?
Negative and positive, right?
Absolutely.
Negative energy, positive energy, and that's how that kind of ekes in, you know.
So again, right, I'll go back to what I said before, like people are married to their story. They say like, I was poor growing up, so that means I'm going to be poor when I'm an adult, or I was abused, or I failed in a marriage, or I've lost a child. And while all of these experiences are for sure excruciatingly painful, it does not equal our future, and it does not equal our present. In any moment, we have the power of mind and will to choose another thought or tell another story. We need to understand that our past does not define who we are, and at any moment, we can divorce our story and marry our new truth and our new reality. And only we can make the choice. So try to always choose another thought to replace a negative, low vibrational one. It's your decision to live a life filled with bliss or to keep repeating the same day over and over again until you shuffle off this mortal coil.
And the more you do it, too, like if I notice a negative thought or a negative thing comes into my vision,
yes,
you can change it
instantly,
quicker.
Yes.
And it's not always going to be instant, but if you have some think time and really think about, why am I acting this way? Why do I feel this way? And get away from everybody. And I love a legal pad, and I always write down, why do I feel this way? Why am I acting this way? What's not aligned with me? Why am I not? How can I change this situation?
Yes.
And I don't think people know that they have to have think time, and they have to be able to kind of get out of all these situations,
right,
and really start to think about, where they want to go and what they want to create in their life, right?
Absolutely.
And that's huge. If you could just take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just leave me alone.
Right.
I'm here, and I need 20 minutes to just friggin' think.
Well, in stillness.
People don't in stillness.
Yeah,
right?
in stillness. There's like an old quote that says, in stillness I find my true self. If we're constantly just running around like chickens with our heads cut off, we're never going to really figure out where we want to go, what we truly desire, what thoughts are true and authentic, and what thoughts are just like old programming.
Yep. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because from the ages of 0 to 7 years old, that's when all of our programming is installed into our brain.
And what do? Just copy everybody that's around us,
yeah,
right?
We're sponges. We're parrots. We say the same things our parents say. We do the same things our parents do, or our families of origin. And then that's just who we become. And then what happens is we're literally just the 7-year-old child grown up into a 50-year-old man's body or whatever.
Yeah.
And we just keep thinking the same things and choosing the same choices.
Unless you wake up and start thinking that, I can make my own life decisions now, and I can do my own things now.
Yes.
But something has to, sometimes, failure or these things kind of wake you up and shake you up
I
when
agree.
bad things happen, because now it's like, wait a second, I'm not comfortable, I'm not happy. And we were talking about this morning because we were grappling with a couple of things. And I'm like, hey, this is a wake-up call. We maybe don't want to go in this direction anymore.
Yes.
We may not want to do this certain thing anymore.
Right,
You know what I mean?
Or things. There was
There's
more than one thing.
There was a couple of things that we don't want to
do. Yeah. It's true. I mean,
out of here.
Well, anytime that I feel funky
Yeah.
and I start getting like this negative loop shit going on in my mind, it's never because like I'm not woke or I'm not spiritually evolved or I'm not high vibrational. It's always because I'm doing shit that's not resonating or aligning with where I'm going or who I am.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But then we get caught in this thing like we feel like we have to do these certain things, and it's like we don't have to do shit.
But the good thing is you get it quicker.
Yes.
Right? The more you practice it, like a muscle or like doing a martial arts kick or whatever,
right.
it's like the more you do something, the quicker it comes, and the quicker you resolve the situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Last but not least, number 5, everything that we desire is on the other side of fear.
Yes.
I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. I say it pretty much in some capacity on every podcast since I started almost a year ago. Okay, because, we started our Ambitchious podcast in July of 2018.
Yep.
And we've been doing this for a really long time. And I feel like there's like definitely a common theme throughout all of our different podcasts. And it's always that everything you desire is on the other side of fear or, breaking out of your comfort zone type of thing.
Absolutely.
So everything that makes us quake in our friggin' Lululemons.
Yes.
Or whatever you're wearing on your pants. Oh, you are wearing Lululemons today. That's what we need to do. So if it pushes you outside your comfort zone, then it will help you grow and evolve. So what I really truly do now at 38 years old is everything I do, all the choices that I make, I always feel the feeling. So I say to myself, okay, I want to do this, for instance, like I want to do this talk at this place. If I don't get an instant uncomfortable feeling or a flutter or I get a little uncomfortable, I say no to it. Because I'm like, it's going to be too easy. I actually want to feel a little scared. I want to feel a little uncomfortable, a little nervous. I want to get a little bit of fight or flight feeling. And I know a lot of you guys are like, ew, that feels so uncomfortable. I don't want to feel like that. That's when you know that that's the next thing to do. If it feels uncomfortable, if it feels scary or fearful or whatever, that's how you choose your next step. If you want to evolve and grow and go to the next level. If you want to stay like a mediocre fuck like you are right now, then you choose the shit that's just easy like Sunday morning.
Right. Easy like Sunday morning, yes.
Right?
The Commodores.
The Commodores.
Love that song.
Like I spoke in front of a bunch of Harvard and MIT intellectuals in the fall.
Yeah,
and I was shitting my pants because I'm like, well, I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't go to MIT. I fucking barely graduated high school. And I'm going to go talk. But I'm like, no, I know shit that they don't know that they need to know that I can teach them.
And it's funny because all of them, we all have the same needs.
Right.
We all have, loving relationships. We all have problems with our families. We all have things that we're grappling. And they may be really good at going to MIT and getting unbelievable grades and become scientists or whatever the case may be, but maybe they're not looking at the other stuff. And then I found that you were able to help so many people during that speech that, people coming up to you and asking you questions and, exchanging cards. And then they were just awesome people because everyone's the same. Mm-hmm. Everyone has problems. Everyone's trying to be able to be better, or feel better. Right. If they don't know they want to be better, they know that they want to feel better.
And just because you're intellectually smart, like your, SATs are off the charts and you're like a fucking, rocket scientist, doesn't mean that they're spiritually evolved.
Right.
Or that they're happy.
Right.
And I think that we forget that sometimes. So everything that you want is on the other side of fear. Now, maybe what I'm saying is you're not going to jump out of a fucking plane. Okay.
I'm not
either.
Unless something's wrong with it, then I will jump out of it.
Oh my God, don't even say that.
I fly with parachute. No, just kidding.
Stop. I get nervous. All right. Matt, no, we're not jumping out of planes. But sometimes that might be for some people,
some people want to do
what they want to do. Like that's going to push them to the next level.
Maybe someday I'll do it. I don't know. Right now I just don't feel like any need for that.
Fuck, no. But remember, everything you want is on the other side of fear, guys. That is one, I think for me, that's like my number one lesson.
So true. And when you break through and you do the thing that you were fearful of, it's never as bad as you thought it was. It's almost like what is it? There's an abbreviation for fear. I forget what it was.
Oh, it's like face everything and run or fuck shit.
I'll have to think about that. But anyways, I forget what it was. But it's everything you want is on that side.
Oh, it's either something, everything and run or face everything and rise.
Yes. I love that.
God, thank God I just bailed this asshole out. Yes. He doesn't even come prepared.
I didn't know I was going to say it. Sometimes I shoot. I didn't talk about the penny thing, and that one worked out good.
For God's sakes, Matt. You're like a Stephen King. You're like a Stephen King novel.
I am. I love Stephen King.
So that's the top 5 things that I've learned in my 38 years on this 3-dimensional earth plane. I know that I'm going to learn a lot more lessons. Jesus, don't teach me no lessons today.
I love that. I don't want to learn any lessons today.
Oh, gosh. Thank you guys so much for being crusaders for the Ambitchious movement. And like I always say, see you next Tuesday.
Great job, babe.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.